tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of innovation. Just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future we can't vanish. It's E2's family day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cans bounce on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team. When eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare. Taking a step to become supreme.
Sheesh. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another TACT-EAGLE. It's been, for me, a very, very, very long time. Sorry, I was partying up in Sardinia the other week. Actually bumped into Ed Aarons, actually, funnily enough.
Did you ask him where Mark's statement was?
You know what? I actually did say to him, like, I saw him one day, and I was like, he was like, because he came over to, because I was wearing a Palace top, and said like, oh, I'm a Palace fan, blah blah, and he was like, oh, my name's Ed, and I was like, and it was only later on, being very waved, obviously, that I was like, oh, you know what? I think that was Ed Aarons, you know. So I saw him again, like a couple of days later, and I went up to him, I was like, are you Ed Aarons? And he was like, yeah. I was like, you've been getting a lot of grief on Twitter. And he was like, yeah, I know, it's part of the job, innit? But yeah.
So you didn't ask him about Mark's statement?
Not specifically, but I said, who did you get your info from? And I think yeah, maybe the
you scared him off for that question.
No, it's all good. We danced a bit of drum and bass, and then I said, I'll see you at the away games then.
Peace.
But yeah, I've been away. Wasn't very well last week either. Plus, we had like some scheduling clashes and stuff like that. So it's been a while. But anyways, JC, how are you?
I'm good. I've spent most of my time trying to get a damn quote for our flag. So Dan has a flag, and some people in the chat have already spoken about it. They said, everywhere I look, Dan's all over my For You page. So Dan's got a nice little flag here.
Truce.
He's got a nice little quotations from James, I believe it is.
Yeah, it is. Sit down.
Yeah, so we've got something similar, but I'm not really sure in what we should put in it. I quite liked what I did, where it's Artexty Austrian in reference to Glasgow, but Chairman thinks it's a little bit, you know.
I think it's pretty funny.
I said that as well, and I don't think he quite understands. But what he did say is that if we show it like this would be our potential flag. If you can come up with anything better that can fit in that bottom right corner, then put it in the chat, and we might change it, and we'll see what happens. But one thing, Dan, I wanted to know about that picture that you put on wherever you put it for everyone to pick it up.
On Twitter. I'll put it on Twitter.
Where are your toes, bruv?
Look, that's called photo compression, yeah?
Yeah. Where is the little toe on your left foot on the right of the...
Yeah, I told you, it's called photo compression.
Also, you've got some big feet, bruv. You're not that much taller than me. You look like you're size 10.
Look, mate, you know what they say about people with big feet?
Yeah, big socks. Anyway.
Big socks. Yeah, no, it's photo compression. And you know what? Do you know what's funny? No, it's not even funny, actually. It's libelous, actually. So I put it on Twitter. You know, got you know, made myself feel good. Got some likes, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then I get a
Dan's AI generated.
I wish I was. And then I get in my family group chat. I'm like, they're like, oh, Dan, I didn't. I'm like, none of you guys have got Twitter. So how have you seen this? Only Football Away Days. Only nicked it and then put it on Facebook and on Instagram,
and got like hundreds of thousands of likes.
Yeah, something like that.
So Big Long Wonder, that's a lovely name, is saying all them feet pics for free.
I should start selling them. Really, maybe then I'll have some money to spend.
Chairman's referencing the one that I made originally. Bring back something. Bring
we
back.
can't say that one on here.
If you know, you know. Let's say. And if you don't know, just say bring back and then type in Sheffield United flag. You'll find it.
Or just think about feeding horses. No, was that a terrible reference? Okay, that was a terrible reference.
That's awful.
That's an in-betweeners reference, just so you know.
Oh,
anyways,
I don't think anyone watches that anymore.
Yeah, but surely people did back in the day. But anyway. Oh yeah, it's a tactic show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So, what do I do again? Right. Okay. Yeah. So I go through the comments now. Big up, dog. I am back. Dan is back again. Big up, Cozzy. I didn't watch the Sunderland one, but I'm sure Rich always does well. Whenever I've done it with him.
Oh yeah.
Too busy waving his flag across my social media feeds. Yeah, absolutely. And if you see the flag, I'm going to all 3 of the away games. Come say hello. I'm silently confident to get something 1-1 incoming. Their defense is there to be got. I believe are we on 16 or 17 away games unbeaten? Is it 17 now?
It's 17 total games. Unbeaten.
17 now. And I can't remember the name of it on Twitter, but there is a good Palace Twitter like stats account that does like the last time this and that. The longest unbeaten run we've ever had is 18.
And that wasn't in the top flight. That was in like League 2 and 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. They always seem to. I think we've done 18 twice, and both times it was a case of we got promoted from the 2nd division, and then we lost it as soon as we started playing good teams. So if we can manage to get something this weekend,
well, I saw someone
and we equal it, all of them in the top flight. That's nuts.
Yeah, I saw someone call this game because Liverpool also the other team unbeaten in the Premier League this year so far, aren't they? So someone called it El Invincible.
Very good. JC, why sexy wouldn't be something shrewd be better? Like shrewd be better.
I can't just say our Austrian. It just sounds a bit mad, doesn't it?
Our shrewd Austrian.
Nah.
Thing is, when you say something Austrian, you got to be careful what you say. Anyway, let's go on to the injuries and the predicted 11s.
Oh no!
Oh no! Is it the right one?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I did it too quick, didn't I? Apologies.
No, I didn't actually have the tactics board up yet. I was sitting here waiting, and I didn't even get it ready.
We're here now.
I got it. Okay, injuries. No, injuries.
Oh, sorry. It's been a long time, guys.
Injuries. So injuries for Crystal Palace. Cora is still out with a back injury, and there's no return date. Chet still has a knee injury. He'll be back on the 8th of the 11th. Chadi Riyad has a knee injury. He'll be out until the 22nd of the 11th. Benitez has a dislocated finger, and he'll be back not in this game, but the one afterwards. And other ones, there's a question on Pino because he had a impact injury at halftime against West Ham. Not too sure what's happening there, but could be fine, could not be fine. So he is one question mark. And Sarr is most probably back because Glasgow's been talking about Sarr being back for these games. He's been training all week and last week. That's all of our injuries. Moving on to Liverpool's injuries. Let me get my list. They have no injuries. Not one.
Yeah, I saw that earlier. That's mad, isn't it? 0 injuries. A bigger squad than us, 0 injuries. Love that.
Yeah. So let's get into the predicted 11. So for me, I have gone with Henderson, Gay, Lacroix, Richards, Mitchell, Munoz as our fullbacks, Wharton, Kamada in the middle, with Pino, Sarr, and Mateta up top. Dan, for our team, do you agree?
I only took Pino out because I thought he'd be. I'm just assuming that he won't be available. So if he is available, you know what? I'd probably go. Ooh, actually, no. To be fair, I'd say I actually probably would go Kamada actually. But yeah, with Pino around, yeah. If not, then Kamada there, and then Hughes in the middle.
Yeah, because I thought out of even though Hughes had like a really, really good bit of form for ages now, I think that was probably one of his weaker games that he had against West Ham. I don't know if you agreed.
Not gonna lie, I was watching it. I was feeling terrible, so I wasn't really concentrating on the game, to be honest.
Moving over to Liverpool now, I'm gonna make one change here. I'm moving Frimpong out and I'm putting Bradley in because Frimpong's starting against Southampton tonight.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So I'll move him out and put Bradley in. To be fair, I was going to have a conversation between the two because Frimpong's great at going forwards, but he's rubbish at defending, whereas Bradley's a little bit better at defending.
Yeah.
But they play in a 4-2-3-1, but that formation is quite fluid depending on if they're attacking or defending. If they're attacking, you know, they've got one of these midfielders will commit. If this is Frimpong, you've got a winger here, and then basically flex like that. But if they are defending, they're very capable of this free or being able to play all three positions, 6, 8, 10. And Salah and Gakpo can drop in, make a 4-5-1. Everyone shuffles over, make a 4-4-2, like everyone just seems to do when they're defending these days. So good formation, very easy to change how they set up to whatever game they're playing. But for the team that I've gone with Alisson in goal, with Kirkes, Van Dijk, Konate, and Bradley at the back, with McAllister and Gravenberch as the 6s, Soboslai as the 10, Salah on the right, Gakpo on the left, and Hugo Ekitike up top. I have not gone with Isak. I have stuck it with Ekitike because he is unreal in the league at the moment, and it'll be rude to drop him for Isak no matter how much he costs.
Yeah, I agree, and also I think, I mean, when did Isak actually join? Like, I mean, he didn't have a pre-season because he refused to train. So yeah, and also like I agree. Like I think Ekitike has been fantastic for them up front. It's like why would you drop him? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I agree with that that lineup. It's just mad, isn't it? Like look at their bench.
Well, put it this way, Dan. If you add,
you could have Isak in there.
How much are these two players worth in terms of transfer budget? And they're on the bench.
To be honest, I think even only one of them. I think if you add all of our transfers up in that starting 11, I reckon that amounts to one of like Isak or Wirtz.
They were both 140, weren't they?
I think Wirtz wasn't that much. I think Isak was more expensive.
If anyone in the chat knows, could you let us know? But
yeah, I couldn't
those
remember
two players. Look, put it this way: if you sold those two players for the amount that Liverpool bought them for this transfer window, you could buy like 75% of Crystal Palace.
You could, like, I mean, Henderson was about 15, Lacroix about 14.
I mean, the club as a whole, Dan. I'm not talking about the play.
Oh right, yeah, probably.
Because that's near enough £300 million. That's pretty much like what 65-70% of what our club is worth in total. There
you go. Rex is saying 116 for Wirtz. So
yeah, so 160. Yeah, so 250 as a low estimate for the both of them. That is crazy business.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like you look at all of those players on the bench, and they would probably You know what? They probably would actually be starters for all of us, apart from maybe Robertson because he's getting on a bit.
Or Gomez. He doesn't start for
Oh
us.
yeah, Gomez wouldn't know.
Gomez doesn't
Or
start for us. Endo doesn't start for us. Jones
I'd say
doesn't start
Isak.
for us.
Really?
And
You don't think Jones wouldn't start over Kamada?
I don't think so.
I think it's touch and go. You know,
Frimpong don't start over Munoz.
Frimpong at Leverkusen, I think does.
I reckon Robertson would be good to interchange with Mitchell, depending. I don't know
I
enough
think
about this
Robertson's-
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
too
put
soon.
him on there.
But
No.
to be fair, if you think about it, you've already got what 1, 2, 3, 4 players on their bench that would start for us.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's painting how difficult a game this is going to be, guys. So
Yeah.
bear that in mind.
Well,
you
according,
say that.
according to stats, and according to that so-called
stats.
supercomputer that people are doing, it's Excel. I can guarantee you that supercomputer is Excel. Apparently, we've got more chance of winning the league than Tottenham.
Really?
Yeah,
Is it
apparently
really?
we've got a 3.5% chance of winning the league.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I didn't see that it was more than Spurs. Though.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
if you look at the big teams that aren't there, Chelsea aren't involved in that. Tottenham aren't involved in it. We've got a higher percentage than both of those teams.
That's incredible.
So
Right,
we're going to piss the league. I've said it now.
Yeah, you know what? Like, without diverging too much, I think if we didn't have the thing is, it's Europe. Playing Thursday to Sunday, and the thing is, we're probably gonna get to the knockouts as well. Thursday to Sunday, it kills teams. Like, as much as I want us to do well in the league, I think it's going to be one or the other. I can't. But anyway, let's crack on with how Liverpool attack. Sorry, I'm a bit rusty, so it's not there yet. There you go. Right. So, Liverpool, how do they play?
Of course.
So, I haven't put whoever that is in goal, Alisson. So, one thing I noticed with Liverpool this season is that they play very, very transitional football. What do I mean by that? So, when we say a transition, it would be, say, going from one shape to another. Because generally speaking, a team will have a different defensive shape than they will have a attacking shape. Like, for example, if you took us, for example, one of our defensive shapes would be something like that, the classic 5-4-1 low block, for example. But obviously, when we attack, we don't attack in this 5-4-1. We attack in a very different way. And when we're saying transitions, we're talking about the time where it changes between this to this, or whatever it ends up being, right? I think it's going to be a very transitional game because Liverpool seem to want games to be like that. And how is that working for them this season? They're actually not as good as maybe you think. They rank 8th for XG this season in the Premier League, 8th, which is less than some of the other big 6 clubs. Like Man United are actually top, believe it or not. Man City. It's actually less than us, less than Everton, and less than Brighton as well.
Oh wow.
That said, they have had a tough run of games so far. They played Bournemouth, good team. Newcastle, good team. Arsenal, obviously, in the title contention. Burnley, okay, maybe not so good, but still half decent. And Everton, obviously derby game, and also Everton aren't too bad this season. So they've had some difficult games, and the fact they're doing well and winning games is more because in an attacking sense is because they're outscoring their XG. So at the moment, they've outscored their non-penalty expected goals by 3.8, which is pretty decent, obviously, so far.
Clinical.
One thing that's different from this season to last season, I think maybe this is why they are perhaps struggling a little bit more, is that they have 5 percentage points more possession than last season. So last season, they finished with 57.7% possession, whereas this season it's 62.6. But forget that. What do? So in an ideal world, what they'll do is, let's say they've won the ball over here. So they won the ball. Let's say it's gone out for a goal kick. And we're setting up in our sort of pressing shape. So you've got Mateta split in the middle. You've got Hughes is over here somewhere. You'll have Wharton pushes up as well. You have Kamada there. You have Sarr over here. You'll have these players over here marking the wing backs. And then you'll kind of have something like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's actually very common for Liverpool to just hit it long, right? Even if Alisson doesn't do it, and let's say we do a little press, so we come in there, it's gone to Van Dijk, and then we're pressed on these players. We're in these hybrid positions, blah, blah, blah. Actually, these players are probably a bit higher up, really. So on and so forth, right? Again, Van Dijk's happy to hit that long. Or even, say, pass it back. Mac does manage to pass it back to Alisson. We'll hit it long. Generally speaking, there's two areas that they'll target when they're trying to hit it long. And to be honest, you can probably see one of them already because I've just done it. And you can probably see why they do it as well. So they like to use Ekitike as a target man. I don't think he's necessarily the best at this, but I will come back to that later. They hit it long and they try and play off Ekitike, right? So they'll try and play off him. He's very good at linking up the play. So he will try to do that, and they'll have players around him in order to do that. And, obviously, if you win the ball there, what they then want, ultimately, what they really want is they want to be in this space facing, where are the lines gone? Can't remember where the lines are.
I think it's under the ball. Yeah, the ball in the cone. No? Oh.
Don't know. Anyway, there it is. Oh, sweet. Cool. Right. Sorry, guys. They moved it. So what they want is they want to have a player on the ball running in between our midfield and our defence in this kind of area. Because then what that basically gives them is the impetus for these wide players who stay very wide to basically drag the defence apart a bit and gives space for the middle, right? That's what they try to do. They don't go for Ekitike. What they do instead is that they will hit diagonals to Gakpo or Salah. Generally speaking, they don't really tend to do it with Salah because Salah's not very good in the air. I guess unless he's obviously like here and they can play like a nice pass to him pretty comfortably, then fine. But generally speaking, they'll tend to play them to Gakpo because he's better in the air. And what they'll tend to do is they'll tend to play it sort of about here. And what that then allows them to do is it allows, say, Gakpo to be able to get the ball and try and flick it on. Because when they're flicking it on, if they're not trying to run in between the defence and the attack, they want to hit this space in. Ooh. Okay. They want to hit this space in behind here, right? That's what they want. Because at the end of the day, anything that sits in a low block is going to be difficult to break down, right? So they want to try and minimize the amount of time that team spends in a low block or a mid block or whatever. So they'll try and win flick-ons and try to get them in behind. And then the thing is, when you are here and you're trying to cover, naturally, I mean, it's a bit different because we've got 5 at the back, so we've got a bit more cover. But generally speaking, if you manage to flick it on and it comes to here, let's say your player sucked in over here, it gives space there because your player's there. And naturally, if Ekitike wins that ball, you're going to get more than one player going towards them, really. So that gives impetus for them to exploit spaces here. And to be honest, I think the fact that they don't go to Salah is actually also kind of part of the plan, because then what that enables is, let's say they do win that flick on, Ekitike's here, Szoboszlai's, win that. Kirkes is doing overline, blah, blah, blah. Calates there or something. It kind of looks, I don't know, something like this, let's say. Tyron Mitchell's going to have to come a little bit more narrow, because otherwise, you're going to be giving Szoboszlai a lot of space, or whoever's occupying that area. And that's a good point to make as well. Could be Szoboszlai, could be McAllister. They interlink and they change positions very, very well, just to confuse defences. And, the more you confuse the defence, the more time you're going to get on the ball to do something. And let's say, I don't know, you do manage to pass off to Szoboszlai. Well, that gives someone like Salah a lot of space on this side. So you've got to hope that, say, our winger, whoever it is aware and is able to make the move back. Because you've got to remember, these players are going to be up here by the time that flick on happens. And, Ekitike is able to get the ball and pass it down. That's going to leave Salah over here. If you get the ball to him, okay, we'll shift over. But then you give Salah a 1v1 versus Tyron Mitchell. Not saying Tyron Mitchell has normally done pretty well against Salah in the past, to be fair. But obviously, you want to try and limit that as much as possible. I think also, this isn't my part, but I think also why they like to hit them long is because obviously the ball's further away from their own goal. So if you lose the ball over here, bad. If you lose the ball up here, it doesn't really matter. You can
not as bad.
Yeah, not as bad, but you can accept the risk a bit more. Let me see. And to be honest, it's a common theme as well, because you know what? They'll say, okay, let's put us back into like a mid block. Let's say we're sitting off them, right? Because we know what they're going to do. Where's Gay gone? We know what they're going to do, so we're kind of sitting off them in a mid block, let's say, right? So it looks something like this, right? So let's say we're sitting off them, blah blah blah, in a mid block. They you know what, they've just decided to hit it long, see what happens. Ekitike wins the ball. So he doesn't win the ball. He goes for an aerial duel, doesn't win the ball, and it comes down. Well, they've got players around here to try and win that ball, to try and win that second ball, which is going to be very, very crucial for us. You need to be able to win those second balls against Liverpool, and basically you're just trying to. It's like a drop ball battle in the middle, because let's say we win the ball, but it's a bit scrappy, and let's say it gets cleared over here. Van Dijk is, or whoever it is just going to hit it back into this area. And what that's doing is basically you because you're trying to win the ball and you're trying to win those second balls, you're kind of like moving out of your shape, right? So if you keep hitting him into these areas, you're hoping that, let's say it goes to Szoboszlai and he finds himself in this position, and again then they're in that where they want to be, running between our defensive and midfield lines. You'll see that a lot. I think the key to us doing well in this game is to ensure that we stay in our shape in these situations. Try not to get sucked into this battle of drop balls and stuff like that, right? Because to be honest with you, I didn't really see them do a huge amount when teams were in low blocks. It was only when they drew them out of the low block that they then hurt them. So I think it's key for us to not get sucked in too much into these into these like drop ball battles, as I was saying.
Do you think that that they want to do that because all three of their midfielders can play like in all three positions basically, so they feel like they can go man for man in the middle if they need to.
I think they can.
There have been times where when they're in transition trying to get the ball forwards quickly, I've seen McAllister pick up the spot in the lines. I've seen Gravenberch do it. I've seen all three of them do it. Do you think that because all three of them are very comfortable rotating in all those positions, they do it to make it harder for the opposition to defend against because they don't know who's going to pick up the space next?
I think so. I mean, yeah, they definitely rotate, and that definitely has an impact on defending because obviously you got to make sure, like, you're not marking the man per se, you're marking the role, aren't you? So, and obviously, you know, if you see the man, you just mark them. But
Yeah.
if you got to think, oh, are they in this role? Are they doing that? Like, you got to think what they're doing rather than. So, yeah, they definitely will. I don't think Gravenberch necessarily does so much. I think Gravenberch would definitely be the player who's more back. And then you'll see, I think you'll see these two swap. You'll see Gakpo maybe swap and then Szoboszlai out there. I think that's generally what you're seeing. You'll see Ekitike swap as well. The players I don't think you'll see swap. You might see like Kirkes move inside there. I think you'll always see Salah here and cutting inside, and I think you'll always see these four here roughly doing this. Everyone else, well, Frimpong obviously won't swap, but these four will swap. I think that's what I think would happen. And then I've got some examples just to show. So I'm going a bit overboard here. It's been a long time for me, so I've got to get it all in. Why is it doing that? Right, bear with. Right, so this is what I was saying about using Ekitike as a like a target man. Now, this is actually an interesting example because I saw it very early on in the Bournemouth game. And in all the games after that, I didn't see it so much. And I think it's because teams don't want this to happen, so they stop it. But anyway, so ball here, basically passes it to Szoboszlai, and then he moves inside and he passes it to Ekitike. And then another example, target man Ekitike. This is Alisson. It's going to hump. It's going to pass it long. Ekitike there.
Easy.
And as you can see, a lot of players, three players in the immediate vicinity, one player in the, I guess, like there, nearby, and then you got a lot of players here who are kind of backing it. So if that goes in the air, they're hoping that this is going to go into this area and they're going to win that ball. Target man Ekitike again. So like I said, it's not necessarily just Alisson going to do it. Pass it along to Ekitike, so on and so forth. The reason for this, like I was saying before, I don't know if I can see. It's so good. So going back to this one, for example, defensive line. Well, it's not really a line, midfield line. All of this space here, right? Same over here. Can't really see it, but defensive line and midfield line is somewhere over here. Players in space. If he brings that down, got Gakpo in space, and then you've got Salah who's moving in space here, and then I don't know who's here, but I imagine it's probably going midfielder who will want to occupy this space. This is a typical attack in the vein of what I said. Alisson's got the ball, pass it long. Like I said, you're basically bypassing the press. I don't know who that is, but they're going to pass the ball around there. So went from there to Ekitike. Now Ekitike, like I said, very, very good link-up play. It's going to back heel it to there. And then Florian Wirtz is running in behind. Dangerous position, right? So you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, that's fine. So are they a long ball team? No, they're not a long ball team. The reason why this is because I think if they get the option to play out, they will play out. So let's bring it back here. And generally speaking, they will have a lot of players back in order to do this. I think this is because generally speaking, right, teams these days tend to press in like a 5-5. Like we've all seen it. Like we have those players here. So bear with me. Let me just put these players where they probably should be. Yeah, something like that, right? So like you have these players. So like generally we have these 5 players here. Normally the fullbacks would be a bit wider, so you have something like that, and you'd have these 2 players on their double pivot, and then if the wingers move back, then you got these players to jump right. And to be honest, that's a pretty decent matchup, to be honest. But they want to try and get these overloads so they can play out of this. Because one, as I said, normally these are a bit more narrow. Because one, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players here versus our 5. So you're kind of forcing our players to commit. So maybe you could have Mitchell or Munoz jump in and then they move over if you want to play a more risky game. But also as well, you've got someone like Gravenberch and McAllister who are very, very good at linking up and being able to play out of these areas. It depends on how good the press was. I feel like Liverpool did this a lot against Bournemouth, but I feel like Bournemouth's press wasn't very good in that game, in my opinion. I feel like you've got to go not entirely man-to-man, but I think you need to go pretty gung-ho. Like I thought Newcastle's press against Liverpool in the first half was pretty good. They only went 1-0 down because of a goal from outside the box. And for me, this guy Gravenberch is the guy you've got to. He's very press resistant, so you got to. If you're going to go after him, you got to commit. Do you know what I mean? Or I suppose you could try and mark him out the game. You could just really try and do that. But he's got very good movement, and you can't stand in front because if you stand in front, you're just just run behind. Receives the ball here, he can turn, so on and so forth. Maybe you could get our players to kind of spring a trap, perhaps. But if I was going to spring a trap on any player, it wouldn't be him. And since I'm talking about how we can defend against them, let's talk about. I think if we have our press here as well, and we're choosing a centre back to split all day long, get it to go to Konate, definitely. So then you go to Konate, and then you just try. I think you got to try and trap him. The reason why I say that is because
he's had a bit of a poor season,
and also Van Dijk. Like I said, they're happy to go long. Van Dijk's got a very good pass on him, so he will be able to pick out Ekitike even if it's slightly under pressure. Konate, maybe not so much. What's some other things to talk about? How long have I rambled on for? Okay, I'll ramble on for a little bit more longer. Other things. Also, one thing, before I talk about how we can defend against them a bit more, they've got a very aggressive counter press. So if you don't know what a counter press is, say we win the ball here, they've got all their players over here, let's say, right? Something like this. Okay. Counter press is basically win the ball there. You've got so many players around the ball that you try and win it. And especially if we're facing our own goal, they're going to chase you down. So say Mark Gay wins it there, pass it to Lacroix, going to chase it. Even if they pass it to Hendo, going to chase it. And then that's going to force us to kick it long. And then that kind of feeds into their game plan of, okay, they're going to win the ball here. They want to play that game of drop ball in this kind of area for us to kind of slowly come out of our shape, cause a bit of chaos. Right. Now, some of my thoughts on the game. So I actually think they're gonna use our press against us, and this is something I'd be worried about. So going back to what I was saying earlier with these, I think they're gonna they always do, but they're gonna push their wingers very, very high. I think they're gonna have whoever it is up here, they're gonna have very, very close together, which is gonna make our back three go narrow, because ideally you want that defensive overload. And they're going to push Salah and Gakpo pretty much as high as they can without obviously being offside. And what that is going to do is going to force our players to stick with them, basically. And it's going to stop us being able to jump, because like I was saying earlier, they've got a numerical advantage in this area at the moment. So if they want to play out, they probably can, because they've got more players than we do here. So they can afford, if they wanted to, they can afford to push a player up, and they're going to have a lot of space, because unless we want to gamble and say push Munoz up and then they come over, like I said, but then you've got 1v1s on all of those players. Do you really want that? I'm not sure. Perhaps a way around that could be to say whoever is the fullback in that space, so whether it's Frimpong, Kirkes, or maybe even McAllister goes out there or something like that, which is something that they do. They do like to drop midfielders into areas to try and get numerical overloads to try and help their build up. Whoever that jump is, perhaps one of our midfielders on the other side can drop, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not too sure how that would work really with those players. But that's something that does worry me. And obviously, if we jump and we time it wrong, all it takes is a couple of passes to then have, say, pass there and then a pass in behind to then have them through on goal in a situation like this. And obviously, that'd be even worse on the other side with someone like Salah. And like I said earlier about the sides that they go for, I'm interested to see what side that they do go for, because let's say we do push these players up and the centre back pushes out instead, right? Let's say we do that, we do gamble. Will they go Mark Gay to Salah, or will they go Chris Richards to Gakpo? Because you know what, I would bet Gakpo's good in the air, but I wouldn't bet against Chris Richards in that aerial battle. So I think that's something that maybe they're going to have to get to grips with. And then finally, what I want to kind of leave with is that they are very, very adaptable. So all the things I've said, they'll take into account the team that they're playing. So for example, when they play Bournemouth, they probably play Bournemouth in that particular transitional way, because they know that Bournemouth like to press really high. So they thought, okay, we can try and beat their press just by kicking it long, right? They've done that before. They've done that against other teams. They've done that against, I think it was Man City last season, and they beat them. So they know what they're doing. And let's say that this isn't working for them. Let's say that every single time, we shuffle over, we got Adam Wharton there, Gakpo loses out, and then you've got a couple of our players here to pick up the pieces, and again, absolutely no joy there. Maybe they'll change it up. Like maybe rather than kicking it to that side, maybe they will try and get Salah, or maybe they'll push Frimpong up high. So then Mitch has got to look after Frimpong instead rather than Salah, and then Salah can drop, and then they can pass him the ball, for example. And that's something that would worry me in the second half more so than the first half. And that's pretty much the only things I do want to share before I finish up is just a couple of defensive shapes that I thought were very good from Wait, is this what I think it is? No, not that one, not that one. Why does it always do that? So it's a good defensive shape, right? 5, sorry, not 5, apologies. 4, 5, 1. When they were in the shape, Liverpool found it very, very difficult to get through them. And then they pushed out again because what you're doing is you're just blocking out all of these passing lanes. And this is exactly why Liverpool want you to try and not be in your shape, because they don't like this. And the thing is, it's not like, say, like when Arsenal played the other night and what was it, Martinelli scored, wasn't it? They can't do that because they don't have anyone. Well, even if they did, let's say Ekitike does run around and run in behind. He does occasionally. It's still quite easy to defend against, because it's very obvious in this particular scenario. Get them here, and they don't really have a lot to say. And actually, the way that Liverpool broke through them in that way was actually by doing exactly that. So the ball comes to Gravenberch. He then runs, and you can see this shape just break him slightly because Joel Linton's going to go towards him. And then this is what I was saying about Gravenberch. He skips past him and then passes to Schlobersley, or whoever that is, McAllister maybe. No, Wirtz, I think that is. And then
Wirtz.
Yeah, Wirtz. And then you got Salah there, 1v1 against Tino Livramento. Not good for business. Finally, no, was this it? No, that's not it. That's something different. But that's it. That's all I have to say. In short, Liverpool will try to play a very, very transitional game. They won't want us to sit in our low block, and we should try and not sit in our low block, but sit in a mid block like Newcastle did. Sit in a low block if we need to. I think that'll frustrate them, and we just got to try and win each individual battle. There's going to be individual battles all over the pitch. You just got to win them to have any chance of winning this game, because I can say we can do all of that, right? And then there'll be maybe 2 chances where we don't win that battle, and then they'll create a great chance. And with the players they got, they can finish it. Do you know what I mean? And they probably, and like, unless we're 10 out of 10 all over the pitch, they're going to make chances because of that, because they are basically making it 1v1s, and ultimately they do have the better players. And that's it. So I rambled on a bit there.
That's all right. To be fair, they haven't changed much defensively, so. All
right. Let's very quick couple of comments. Dog, I did see them. I'll have a look when I get an opportunity to. I'm going to Poland next week, so I'm not sure if I'll. No update on Pino as yet, Tim. Thank you for tuning in, mate. Yeah, we'll see, Colin. We'll see. Right. Anyways, let's talk about how Liverpool defend.
Defense. Yes. How do Liverpool defend? If you remember last year, we came up with some slander names. Virgil van Disney. Virgil van Aura. Aura defending. It's still there. Don't you worry. It's still there. But there is one ever so slight change to this Aura defending. And the slight change is, if he is in the middle third, he will step out. He will happily step up. And that's literally the only change. These centre-backs, normally, let's say if Mateta's got the ball here and he's dribbling forwards, the centre-backs just follow him like this. And then when they get to about here, then they step up. They wait till there's more risk of a goal before they end up stepping up and doing anything. But if there's a situation where the striker's got the ball and they're facing, I don't know, they're receiving the ball with a back towards their goal, they do very similar to what Lacroix does now, where if the striker's got the ball, they'll go touch tight really and then try and go through the player to try and win the ball. And if not, they'll draw a foul. Because if the foul's done in this area of the pitch and there's no room for the player to go anywhere, it's never going to be carded. You can get away with that foul. You can disrupt attacks. You can do that. They're basically just doing exactly what we're going to do to them. So when Ekatike gets the ball to try and turn and move, Lacroix's just going to foul him every time, and then we're going to get away with it because that's how the refs do it here in England. Because put it this way, if that foul's done close to the box, I see a yellow card every day. But because it's so far away from the goal and I don't know, the player's got their back towards the goal, there's no chance of them going anywhere apart from a pass back or a flick. They're never going to get carded for it. So basically, that's the only change that they've been doing. But it still means that because of their lack of wanting to make a challenge in this area of the pitch, because they play such a high line, the running in behind is going to be the big one for me. And also, let's get these players up. And also something that we actually capitalized on a little bit was the fact that when they get to a certain point, there's a trigger for them to step up. Dan, do you remember in the Community Shield when Van Dijk stepped up and then Wharton just found a lovely pass into that space that Van Dijk just left for Sarr, and then he just took one touch and scored?
My memory's not that good, so
Okay. Well,
remind
imagine
me.
we are like in, I guess, like this scenario, let's say. This is sort of like another bit of how we can attack. We're sort of in this scenario here. Gakpo dropped in here, received the ball from Soboslai, but he didn't realise that Richards pushed up to, intercept that pass. The ball knocks to Wharton. McAllister stepped up to go and press the ball here, but as he stepped up, Van Dijk went to go get touch tight with Mateta, but as he did that, he left basically that run free for Sarr. So Sarr stepped into the place that Van Dijk just left. A nice little ball over the top. Sarr took one touch and scored near post. Do you not remember that? So I think for us, whenever they move or they try and make a decision, they make an action to try and stop us, I think that's what we need to capitalise. Because Konate doesn't do it as much as Van Dijk. Konate will literally watch you run all the way into the box and have a shot because he just wants to be a stats merchant where he doesn't want anyone to dribble past him. You know how you don't let someone dribble past you? You just run away from them. They can never dribble past you if they can never actually run past you. Food for thought. Other things, when they do actually end up defending and when the other team is on top, let's say, which to be fair doesn't happen to Liverpool too much, because of how their midfield three are. Pardon me. Damn. They're very capable. Damn. Oh, my nose.
Oh,
Yeah, hay fever. But I don't know why I've got hay fever now, though. Oh,
you're ill, mate.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, but with what I said earlier, they will drop into a back five if they need to. The centre backs and the full backs will tuck in tight. You got the five in front to sort of screen, then you got the one guy up front. Also, if they wanted to be a little bit more progressive with that, they will have Ekatike there, and they'll sort of push across and have a 4 there. They'll be trying to be as tight as possible when it comes to between the players. but then they'll try and be as compact as possible between the line as well to not allow us any space in here if they are sitting deep. They do sit in a low block if they need to. Doesn't happen very often, but if they need to, they will do it. But where they struggle is transition, which is what they actually want in their attacking sense, but they really struggle against it when someone does it to them. The reason why is because their counter press is so fierce, let's say, if they have the ball and they're working it, but then they lose the ball, because they try and throw so many. So let's say let's say Salah loses the ball to Mitchell. Salah's going to commit. Gravenberch's going to commit. Bradley will step up. Konate will then try and pick up our attacker here, and then Soboslai will go. So you've got a movement of 5 players just because we've stolen the ball from them, which basically gives us a free hit down the wing where we have, where they've moved one of their players from vacating, they're just gone. You've got loads of space down there, so you could have a ball in behind for Pino or something like that. So they are very reactionary when it comes to stealing the ball off of them when they don't want it. Another thing is because of, they like to run away from the ball and not make a challenge. There is an element of them just being really bad when running towards their own goal. So if you're actually in behind or you're running level, so let's say look, there's a ball in behind and Mateta's chasing it with Konate next to him, there's a good chance Mateta will win this because Konate is still scared of making that challenge because he knows that if Mateta gets a yard ahead and he swipes him, it's a red card, isn't it? So they're very risk avert. They don't want to take many risks as defenders. Like the challenge that Chris Richards made on Somerville to nick the ball off of him when he went in behind, Konate and Van Dijk would never make that kind of challenge just in case, just because of the risk that could happen for a straight red card. So how do we take this into account and how do we maximize what we can do? So there's a few players in Liverpool's team that actually haven't impressed a lot this year. Obviously, Gravenberch has been great, Soboslai has been great, McAllister's been great, but Konate, as Dan said, if there's someone to trigger and if there's someone to go and attack, it's him. The other one is Frimpong. He's not been great this year. I mean, obviously going forwards, he's a very, very good player. But when defending, which is something that Liverpool do a lot more than how Leverkusen did a few years ago, because they played a 5-back, so he basically had free reign of this whole wing. If they play a 4-back Liverpool, they're not really suited to Frimpong. I'm not quite sure why they got him, really. But you'll see Bradley playing there a lot more. But I think the main one that I wanted to focus on is Kerkez. He's been hooked at half-time for stinkers 3 times this season already. And, I'm not saying he's a bad fullback, but he really and truly, he only had one good season at Bournemouth before getting a really huge move. So obviously I'm not saying that he don't deserve the move, but I think he's probably one to target alongside Konate. So because the time's running on a bit, I will try and rush through this. Because of their pressing and how they are, if we have the ball over here with Kamada, for an example, they will push over, and what they will do is they will leave loads of space on the opposite wing. The opposite fullback will always push up. So if Mitchell's got the ball, the opposite-sided fullback will push up, and then their whole back line will shift across to try and go man for man. But with Ismail Assar and his pace, there's a lot of space down this wing because the left back has vacated the space. Obviously Mitchell can't do that pass, but if it's Kamada maybe, that pass down here will be very handy. There'll be a lot of space there. And specifically, this only happens on Kerkez's side because he is always missing, which is probably why he gets hooked off so much. So trying to get in behind on the opposite side, something that I think we missed without having Sarr against West Ham is that, Dan, we would probably agree that Sarr's not the best in the low block.
No.
But I think that because of Sarr's raw ability and his raw pace, it makes the opposition team step back a few yards and take a few more steps and think, you know what, I'm not going to push up as high as I normally would because of his pace. We don't want to have that much space in behind. And that's probably why West Ham and Sunderland stepped up so much against us. So even though Sarr is not that good in a low block, he causes the other team to sit in a low block just to stop him. And that's why I think that having Sarr on one side and Pino on the other side would be really handy for us. You've got Pino who can work his way through that low block, and Sarr that can be on the pitch just as a presence to keep them in that low block as well. Funny enough, Liverpool actually have the second highest errors leading towards goals this season. So the centre backs or the midfielders making a bad pass, making a bad challenge. Even though it's only 5 games in, they've had 3 errors leading towards goals. And they've only conceded 5 goals this year. So, they are pretty prone to mistakes at the back. You can press them. I think one of the goals was, Bournemouth just pressed them. Semenyo got the ball in their box and just scored. Like, they're not, like, their defense isn't impenetrable. And really, apart from running in behind against the fullbacks, actually dribbling at the centre-backs, I think it's the exact same thing as I said last year, just dribble at the centre-backs. They're going to back off you. Like, that's exactly how Semenyo scored first game of the season. Do you remember that? He just picked up the ball, ran straight at Van Dijk, and just went, I'm in the box and I'm going to shoot, and he scored. Just run at them. Don't give them the respect that they think they deserve. Because to be fair with Glasner, he hasn't done that really. So as long as we keep doing that, we have the arrogance and the self-belief to say, no, you know what? Even though you are a massive club, we don't care. We're going to go there. We're going to try and do what we got to do. We should have beaten them at the end of last season. Yes, they down tools, but we should have beaten them. That 1-1 draw, I'm not going to throw any players under the bus there, but we should have gotten a win there. I think we were worth the win against Liverpool in the Community Shield as well. I think the game will be quite similar to that. If we just stay compact, as Dan said, take our chances, I think we'll be all right. And we need to remember that you can score against them. We've done it twice this year already.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, nice. Yeah, I think going back to what you're saying about Kirkes and Frimpong, I do agree. Like when I was when I first saw them signing both of them, I was thinking, okay, I get Kirkes. And then I think Frimpong was after, and I was like, okay, so are they going to basically like hold a player back to try and like? I didn't really understand what they were going.
You know what I thought? Genuinely, I thought, they have Kirkes on one side, they have Frimpong on the other. They get Mark in, and then they'd switch to a 3 at the back. That's what I thought they were going to do. But they never got Mark.
Yeah.
Maybe if they got Mark, maybe that's what would happen. What would have happened.
Possibly. Maybe. Because I don't know. Because I think, like I said, they are a very adaptable team. Like from the attacking point of view, there was actually quite a few points I didn't even say because they have so much to their game, and it's like, I don't know. I just think like I don't know because it's like you have. Because like Frimpong was basically a winger at Leverkusen. Kirkes was one of the best forward attacking left backs in the league last season. So it was like you got both of them. So like there must be that's very attacking, but then your midfield would then have to just be a bit less to kind of combat that. But
I think it's the fact that when one fullback goes, the other has to slot in as a right or left centre back. But the fact that they're both forward thinking, they're both going to go every time, and that's why there's just so much space in behind, and you're leaving Kanate and Van Dijk out to dry because there's so much space out wide. Like if you look at what Grealish was doing to them in the last game, Grealish isn't fast, but he had so much space down that wing because the fullbacks were just gone. Yeah, and it was so bad that they had to pull off Frimpong at half time to put on Bradley just because he will hold his line a little bit better than Frimpong will.
Yeah. No, for sure. But I agree. I think it's going to be a tough game, but like you said, as long as you stay compact, I think as long as we don't try to get baited too much, win our individual battles, then maybe we can do well. And hopefully Sol's back, because I think that'd be very good for this game, because we're not going to be playing against a low block. So I think we've got to try and hit them on the break, really. And I think Sol's one of the perfect players to do that, isn't he, really? So anyways, with all that said, it's time for predictions. Guys, put in the chat what you think, obviously. But I am going to go. See, the heart is saying the unbeaten run is continuing, but the head don't agree.
You know what's funny? I completely agree with you.
I'm going to go 1-0 Liverpool, because
Oh damn! Why are you copying me?
You can copy me if you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say my heart is saying 1-1, but my head's saying 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I just think I think there's, if you look at like omens or whatever, everything's against us really. Obviously, both teams are unbeaten. This is the game that could confirm Florian Wirtz hits the 007.
Right, I didn't know that was a thing, but okay.
Oh, it's quite. To be fair, I think it's quite a big thing. If you're like a big money signing and you have no goals, no assists in 7 games, you get given the wackest James Bond graphic from Sky Sports. So I think Jaden Sancho,
I see. Right.
Everyone just ran with it ever since then.
Yeah,
so if you're a big money signing and you haven't got, and you got 0-0-7, so no goals, no assists, 7 appearances, you get labelled a flop basically. So I reckon that he'll probably score Florian Wirtz, or Isak will play his first game and kill us. Or even the fact that Ekatike, whether you want to believe it or not, tried to force a move to us. People that potentially could have come to us, they always score against us.
Well, if you want a good counter to that omen, technically he's played 7 games.
Yeah, he got an assist against us in the Shield.
Yeah, so he's not done his 007. I'm gonna leave it with that.
But yeah, and also the fact that it would match our greatest run ever. I think everything's right now.
But then surely you could say the other way.
Though. That's the problem. In my heart, I back us to do it.
The thing is, I feel like we're a team now that we don't really, that doesn't, those kind of like when we will just do, we normally do well against Liverpool. We've done well against Liverpool in the recent past, and I think we're such a difficult, like we're the kind of team, we never win spectacularly, but we rarely get battered. It will be a close game. Like I can't see it not being a close game. Also, Liverpool haven't actually played that well this season. They've just been very good at getting. They've just been, but the thing is, you can say about omens, but then they've won 5 out of 5 this season in the Premier League. So
they could draw.
Well, I mean, I'll take a draw, to be honest.
You know what? 1-1. I'm going with my heart. Go with my heart.
Well, Mary agrees with you. Durfez agrees with you. So there you go. Big up Gorav. Oh, what the hell's going on here? Why is it up? That was weird. It was like, do you want to leave? I was like, no, not really.
These comments you're putting up, I can't see them at all. They're not showing on mine. Yeah,
that's weird. Chelsea are losing to Lincoln. Yeah, we don't know. I reckon we won't find out about Pino until Friday, and for the presser. He likes to keep his cards close to his chest, as he should, in my opinion. 29% chance of Champions League, apparently. I'm guessing that's the same thing as what you had, JC. Durfez thinks 50% chance of Liverpool winning, 25% we win, 25% draw. And Earth, big up Earth, thinks that we will spoil Liverpool's winning run. Like I said, they've not played that well. and they have had a lot of last-minute winners, which, you know what, that's another thing that was a problem with us, that we haven't conceded in a while. But maybe I've now jinxed it. So with that in mind, thanks everyone for watching. It's been great to be back. I think this is the first one that me and JC have done together since
The open day of the season.
yeah, since the Chelsea game. So it's been a while. And yeah, hopefully next week we'll talk, obviously, see what times we're around. But if we are around next week, we will
at
do.
least we will do the European games for TACT-EAGLE. At least.
Oh yeah, TACT-EAGLES will always prioritise the European game. So we will try our best to watch Dynamo Kiev games.
If you can find any, please let me know.
Yeah, we'll try and find some Dynamo Kiev games, and then we'll talk about that. And then the day after, I'll be going to Poland, and then I may or may not do a vlog. But anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and up the Palace.
Eagles. Nice.
Cool. Very nice. I can't wait. So let me see. So Chelsea are actually losing. That's fucking.
I know it's 0-0 between Liverpool and Southampton right now.
So, wow, they're actually playing a decent team as well. Chelsea. They're playing. I mean, they've got Jorgensen in goal, but I don't know if Sanchez is banned or not. I'm guessing he is, because he's not even on the bench.
Fucking hell, Wolves beating Everton.
Gusto.
Oh, no.
I reckon Wolves might go down this season. You know,
Liverpool are 1 up now.
I reckon they might be. I reckon Wolves might go down. You know,
I think they're one of the top ones.
See, like West Ham are shit, but I just feel like they're going to do something.
West Ham can get some. We'll get a run of jammy results, and it'll keep them up. And also, I think that they've got good enough players to not go down. Let's be real.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Jared Bowen will keep him up on his own. He's good enough to do that. Paqueta's good. Somerville's really good.
Yeah.
Callum Wilson, if he can keep him fit, he'll keep you up.
Yeah. So, so Chelsea are playing right. So you got Gusto, Chalobah, Fofana, and Hato, whatever his name is, Hato.
Yeah.
Fernandez, Andre Santos, Garnacho, Buonanotte, Gittins, and Tariq George. So, to be fair, not their first team, but
that's still a good team, though.
That's still a good team, and they're losing.
Fucking hell.
So
yeah, I've got my microphones here. Do you want to borrow them?
So yeah. So how does it remind me? How does it work? So
is your phone USB-C or is it something else to charge it?
USB-C.
Yeah. So what you do is basically you close the camera app completely from your phone. You turn on this one first, which is the receiver. And then you turn on the actual microphone, which is this one without the cable.
Yeah.
Then you plug it in.
Jordan, you're still alive.
No, I'm not.
Your mum says you are.
You shouldn't be.
Are you sure? Apparently we're still alive.
Let me have a look.
Are we?
Well, I clicked end, so it can't be.
It can't be live.
Apparently we are live.
Are we?
What?
It says we're not live.
I ended the stream. I tell you what, let's leave and come back.
Okay.
We are, right?
Oh, what? What one? Oh, no.